What's your favorite kind of beer? Most people are all about the IPAs these days, but how many other styles of beer could you think of off the top of your head? 10? Maybe 20? I mean, I like an IPA just as much as the next bearded millennial, but there are so many other styles that you can choose from. The Beer Judges Certification Program, or BJCP, have a continuously updating guideline of recognized beer styles, and as of their most recent update in 2015, they have categorized nearly 120 different types of beers. I want to take a look at each style so we can learn a little more about the beer we drink, or about the beer we should be drinking. Welcome to the Taproom. I'm sure at least some of you have heard the term bitter beer at some point. Fewer of you still may have even thought, what is a bitter beer? Is it a descriptor of a beer's flavor or an actual style? And the answer is yes to both of them. The beer does have its own category in the BJCP beer guidelines, but its name came about as a flavor descriptor to differentiate it from other styles of the time, which we'll get into that later. A British bitter beer can vary in color from lightly golden to a dark amber, and can vary in alcohol from less than 3% to as high as 7%. Bitter is a style of beer that evolved from the pale ale category, but also has sub-styles of its own, based mostly but not limited to its alcohol content. Bitters are usually broken down into three types: ordinary bitter, best bitter, and strong bitter, which you might know as extra special bitter or ESB. Ordinary bitters tend to be lower in alcohol volume, around 3.2 to 3.8%. Best bitters are usually between 3.8 to 4.6%, and strong bitters, or ESBs, are generally around 4.6 to 6.2%. Each of these styles favor a stronger malt flavor without overtaking the bitterness, have generally lower carbonation, and place an emphasis on drinkability. Now, these types of bitters are taken straight from the BJCP style guidelines and express the real ale versions of the beer, but there's always variations between different brewers and areas that they're made. The term bitter was first used at the end of the 19th century, prior to the use of pump clips to differentiate it from sweeter pale ales and mild ales. At the end of the First World War, pubgoers were looking something different from the sweeter, darker ales that were mostly popular up to that point. And from that desire of something different rose the bitter becoming a style of its own. The ale exploded in popularity, leaving its mild predecessors nearly forgotten. After the Second World War, bitter ales had been well established as a premium ale and only grew in popularity. British bitters aren't traditionally served under pressure, but from a hand-pumped tap or beer engine. This comes directly from a cask at cellar temperature between 10 degrees to 15 degrees Celsius, as opposed to a refrigerated keg served under pressure from a CO2 tank. So if you're only after that ice-cold, highly refreshing beer on a hot summer's day, this beer might not exactly be right for you. It was, however, exactly right for the majority of the British, as it was the most popular beer sold on tap for a large part of the 20th century. Sales of these cask ales declined in the last few decades, largely due to the popularity of premium lagers and craft beer in younger drinkers. There are, however, still quite a few individuals that have organized the campaign for real ale to see that what they call real ales, ciders, perries, and traditional pubs continue on. Most of us might not get a chance to try a real cask ale unless you're lucky enough to have a pub nearby that has it. Here in Halifax, I only know of one spot to try a real ale, and that's Henry House. So get out and try one if you're in the city. Well, that's it for this episode. If you have any more questions or think I left out something important, let us know in the comments below. In the future, I would like to create a segment highlighting new beer releases for the week, if I can even find an efficient way to track them all down. But in the meantime, be sure to hit that like button if you enjoyed the video, and subscribe if you like beer. Well, see ya.